in the world here in New York City. You can feel it. I mean, even inside the buildings, you can still get like that smoky smell. That's why we're advising everybody to stay indoors, as the experts are.
Masks,
air quality alerts. How about, how this affects your pets? But other headlines, too. You had to get me there with Miami Heat, huh? We had to put that in the show, didn't we? Can't we just put them in the show when they win? That's what I would like. That's why I'm not the producer of this show. And speaking of South Florida sports news, did you know that you can't spell Lionel Messi without MLS?
Oh, yes, big news.
Major
Florida's
update.
always in the news for something.
I know. What's happening in South Florida sports, I love it. I love every second of it. We'll get to that. First, let's get back to that air quality alert, because it's not just here in New York. It's also 16 states right now.
And it's due to the toxic smoke from Canada's wildfires. Looking live now from the Statue of Liberty towards Manhattan, and you can still see the haze even at this hour. It's the reason 1 million masks will be handed out today in the Big Apple.
Orange skies were seen from the Northeast to the Midwest yesterday, and more hazardous air quality is expected today. That means more likely disappointment for these fans who came all the way from California for a Yankees game, which was smoked out last night. Haven't heard that one before, along with Broadway shows, many other events also canceled, all due to that smoky haze. This morning, millions of Americans are being warned to stay indoors and to wear a mask when venturing outside. Home air purifying machines like this one working overtime, detecting high amounts of pollutants as toxic air blankets much of the Northeast, all the result of hundreds of wildfires burning in Canada.
Very, very scary, just walking down the street and feeling like I'm going to have an asthma attack. I feel that's how bad the air quality is.
The New York City skyline looked out of this world, appearing orange. Low visibility, delaying flights, and health concerns, canceling Major League Baseball games, closing zoos, even shutting down some Broadway shows. On a scale out of 500, New York City's air quality index hit 484 yesterday, the worst of anywhere on the planet. The EPA considers anything above 300 hazardous.
On the levels of health concern, that is clearly alarming for New Yorkers. This is the highest level index of our knowledge since the 60s.
The conditions are expected to last until this weekend. A weather system which remains locked in place is circulating all that smoky air. Washington, D.C. could see some of the worst conditions today, while cities including Pittsburgh and Dayton, Ohio, are bracing for worsening conditions tomorrow. Doctors recommend minimizing time outdoors in affected areas.
With this type of air quality, and particularly the concerns with breathing issues, those that are most at risk are those that have underlying chronic pulmonary issues. So asthma patients, patients that have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, chronic bronchitis, and others.
This video shows where the fires are burning in Canada, which is not currently in a drought, but experts say persistent heat in recent weeks fueled these flames. Canada was the epicenter of a significant heat anomaly last month, where areas seen here in dark red experienced temperatures about 40 degrees above average. Canada's Prime Minister announced last night that hundreds of American firefighters have now joined the front lines, with more on the way.
Sources tell ABC News former President Trump has been informed that he is the target of a federal investigation into his handling of classified documents after leaving office. They say Trump was notified in a letter from special counsel Jack Smith in recent weeks. As ABC's Pierre Thomas reports, it's a clear sign that Trump is facing the prospect of charges in the probe that appears to be wrapping up.
It gives the subject time to volunteer to appear before the grand jury, to somehow influence the investigation. But make no mistake, the point of it is to put that person on notice that they are likely facing indictment.
Now, this comes after sources revealed Trump's legal team met with Justice Department officials Monday. And yesterday, former Trump spokesman Taylor Budowich appeared before a grand jury in Miami, which is hearing evidence in the documents case.
Former Vice President Mike Pence kicked off his White House bid with a repudiation of his former boss, saying that Donald Trump should never be president again. In a CNN town hall, Pence voiced support for continued U.S. aid for Ukraine, and he slammed Trump for calling Vladimir Putin a genius. But he said he hopes the Justice Department does not indict Trump because it would be divisive and, quote, send a terrible message to the world.
Pope Francis will be recovering from surgery in a Rome hospital for a few days. His doctors say his 3-hour abdominal procedure yesterday was successful. ABC's Marcus Moore has details.
Following the surgery, the Pope was said to be in good spirits and even joking with his surgeon.
The Pope, he's fine and he's awakened.
The Holy See press office stating the operation had become necessary to correct an abdominal hernia causing, quote, a recurrent, painful, and worsening intestinal blockage. That hernia caused by scars from previous operations. The 86-year-old pontiff seen at his weekly general audience showing no signs of the surgery to come, arriving on the Pope mobile, walking with a cane.
Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.
The Pope taking a moment to shake hands with the faithful as he was pushed in a wheelchair. He later arrived at Rome's Gemelli Hospital, where the surgery was performed under general anesthesia.
And the Pope's doctor says that his recovery will take 7 days and that the Pope is already back at work. Meanwhile, the Vatican press office says that as a precaution, all of the papal audiences have been suspended through June 18th. Marcus Moore, ABC News, the Vatican.
Marcus, thank you. New overnight, a U.S.-bound Air India flight that was diverted to Russia is arriving in San Francisco this morning. More than 200 passengers were stranded in Siberia for nearly 2 days after the plane had engine trouble. Earlier today, a new plane was sent in to complete the trip. The State Department said fewer than 50 Americans were on board. Some passengers say they had to sleep on the floor and couldn't use their credit cards because of sanctions over the war in Ukraine.
Well, Andrew, we've cued the sports music because... there we go. There was an NBA Finals game last night. Did you know that? This could be painful.
The sports music should be a violin, maybe the world's smallest violin. Because Miami's not even supposed to be here, but fans in Miami were wearing white for white-hot heat as the Heat and Nuggets got underway. But come the third quarter, Denver's Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray were just too much to handle for the Heat. They both ended up with triple-doubles, and yeah, that's not good for Miami.
Well, Denver eventually won it 109-94, not very close. The Nuggets now with a 2-1 lead in the series. Game 4 is Friday night in Miami.
No one said it was going to be easy. There's some stat out there that when the series is 1-1, whoever wins Game 3 usually goes on to win like 1,000,000% of the time, something like that.
There's still a chance.
But I would never count out Miami the way they've been playing this postseason. Never. And they showed some fight at the end, but yeah, they got kind of clobbered early and were never able to recover.
But they could recover on Friday.
They could recover on Friday. Right now it's 2-1 Denver. Hopefully it'll be 2-2 by the time we're back here on Monday. Coming up, inside the school known as the Beverly Hills High of the South.
Plus, the carnival thrill ride that turned into terror, leaving nearly 24 riders trapped in spinning cages 6 stories above the ground.
And later in the Skinny, the hottest concert of the season, Paris Hilton, but for one night only. You're watching World News Now.
If you show me real love, baby, I'll show you mine. Make it nice and naughty, make a devil an angel too. Got a heart and soul and body, let's see what this love can do.
Whenever news breaks,
the Crusher families here in Poland.
Here in Kentucky, no match for the tornado.
From Monterey Park, California, on the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Uvalde, Texas, ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine. Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
From Kathmandu, Nepal.
Truckee, California, covering record snowfall.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
Here at this airport in Tampa, it's already shut down.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Reporting from Jerusalem.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
We're going to take you there.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
All right, here we go. Ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis, streaming weeknights.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. Oh wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA 7A. Now that's how you start your day.
With so much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now.
The nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead.
An alert this morning for dog owners.
And the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning. America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
Hollywood.
This is the craziest story.
Randall Emmett, Hollywood movie producer.
Lola Kent, reality star, Vanderpump Rules.
This is the juiciest time in reality show history.
How could I not have been smarter?
It was awful to everyone.
This is certainly the underbelly of Hollywood.
I have to put up a big fight.
I do hope he gets what he deserves.
The Randall Scandal. Love, Loathing, and Vanderpump. Only on Hulu.
Investigators in Delaware say they're looking into why a carnival ride malfunctioned during a busy church carnival, leaving 20 people trapped in spinning cages for hours. Crews rescued riders from the zipper after one cage came loose and fell onto another while the ride was still in motion. Those investigators say the ride was fully inspected late last month. Nobody was injured.
Investigators have been combing through the wreckage of that deadly plane crash in Virginia Sunday. The plane tailed by fighter jets, causing a sonic boom over Washington. This is the latest image from the crash site where all 4 people on board were killed. It's still smoking days later. Investigators say the plane did have a cockpit voice recorder, but they have yet to find it. They expect to release a preliminary report within 3 weeks.
The prime suspect in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway is expected to arrive in the U.S. later today. Joran Vandersloot has been in Peruvian prison serving time for the murder of a young woman in 2010. He's set to leave Peru this morning for the U.S. with a team of FBI agents. He's facing federal extortion and wire fraud charges linked to the Holloway case.
Comedian Pat Cooper has died. His more than half-century career was made on outrage at his own family, celebrities, and life in general.
I'm going deaf in this ear. I went to a specialist. I said, I can't hear in this ear. He says, go on the boot. I'll give you a test. Can you hear this? Can you hear that? Can you hear this? Went on for an hour. I come out of the boot. He says, you need a hearing aid. We sell them for $1,600. I said, I can't hear you.
Well, Cooper was part of the Jerry Lewis telethon for years, and he made countless late-night show appearances. He played himself on Seinfeld and portrayed a mobster in movies with Robert De Niro. His wife says Pat Cooper died Tuesday. He was 93 years old.
When we come back, why so many Ted Lasso fans think we've only just begun.
I hope so. And how is Pete Davidson coming along with his floating nightclub? The Skinny's next.
Hollywood.
This is the craziest story.
Randall Emmett, Hollywood movie producer.
Lola Kent, reality star, Vanderpump Rules.
This is the juiciest time in reality show history.
How could I not have been smarter?
It was awful to everyone.
This is certainly the underbelly of Hollywood.
I have to put up a big fight.
I do hope he gets what he deserves.
The Randall Scandal. Love, Loathing, and Vanderpump. Only on Hulu.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. Right now in America, with so much at stake, thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You gotta think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings, a new podcast from ABC Audio. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
You never know what you're gonna get on the show. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
Yes, Whoopi! This mic on? Everyone, can you hear me out there?
Behind the scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's what people don't see during the commercial break.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into.
That day that we walked out, I treasured that day. I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good.
Oh, yeah, baby.
It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you remember exactly where you were when you found out about Scandal?
The biggest scandal that has ever happened in reality show history.
It's one giant incestuous pool of swapping spit and nonstop drama.
It is shocking. How was I so blind to this? Then I start noticing how close they actually were. I just never imagined Sandoval would have done that to Ariana.
Mind-blowing. Impact by Nightline. Now streaming on Hulu.
This is the story of a superstar.
One of the precursors of Rihanna and Beyonce.
On the fast track to being one of the biggest stars in the world.
As you have not yet heard.
She was an R. Kelly protege.
There have been rumors, some going on between them.
Here's a marriage certificate. What?
Aaliyah.
The pop princess of R&B.
The 22-year-old singer died in a plane crash.
Her music was so impactful. She still feels like she's here today.
Next Wednesday night on ABC. You're watching America's #1 streaming news. ABC News Live. Breaking news, exclusives, live reporting across the globe. Keep streaming with ABC News Live.
Reporting from outside the courthouse in Walterboro, South Carolina, I'm Emwin. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Time now for the skinny. Do I need to look away?
No.
No spoilers. Okay. We're starting with Ted Lasso fans in a state of euphoria this morning. I haven't caught up on season 3.
I'm almost done. Season 3 concluded with an extra long episode, and no spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, but something big happens. And while the show's cast and creator have been acting as if this was the end of the series, Apple TV Plus has not yet confirmed the latest episode as the series finale.
If there's one thing Hollywood has taught me, and the skinny, is that it's never over. It'll always come back. There will be a reboot and a rerun. I don't care if it's officially announced or not. You heard it here first. In fact, how about this tweet of a photo from the end of the finale with the caption, "Smells like potential." Fans are taking this as a teaser for a spinoff. I really wouldn't hate a spinoff here, even though I'm always kind of
Even the music makes me
hating on Hollywood
happy.
for it. Yeah.
It's a good show.
It really is. It really is.
Well, next, what could be the hottest concert of the summer?
Paris Hilton. One night only, and that one night, it was last night.
Even though the guys are crazy, even though the stars are blind, if you show me real love, baby, I'll show you mine.
Yes, Paris sings and has released an album. Her concert was a short time ago in LA, and Paula Abdul was even spotted in the crowd.
I forgot she sang, but that was actually a decent song. Well, ahead of her big night, she shared some rehearsal snaps, including her husband, Carter, holding their infant son, Phoenix.
Phoenix was wearing a pair of bedazzled headphones, too, to protect his little ears, but with style.
So cute. Of course, I'm not surprised. Of course she's going to have bedazzled headphones.
I want some bedazzled headphones. They're just like all white, noise canceling, very basic.
Well, next to the 7-year-old boy who's a dead ringer for Bowser.
All right, we, of course, are talking about Jack Black's character in the Super Mario Brothers movie, in which he belts out this ballad.
Princess Peach at the end of the line. I'll make you mine.
We'll move over Jack Black and make way for 7-year-old Cairo.
Princess Peach at the end of the line. I'll make you mine.
Oh, it's a good sign when the crowd's singing along with you. That's Cairo delighting his classmates at his school's talent show. I think he's soon looking for a talent agent. What do you think?
That is a great rendition. My kids love this song. And you said you haven't seen the movie yet. I would recommend it. I took my kids thinking, okay, I'm going to get a little nap in here, right, for the day. But I did not fall asleep.
That's what
because
I keep hearing.
it is a
adults,
great movie.
Right? Adults, children, I will definitely
Great soundtrack,
see it.
too.
All right, next. Were We All Punked by Pete Davidson.
The SNL alum now admits to ET that he was stoned with former SNL co-star Colin Jost back in January 2022 when they bought a decommissioned Staten Island ferry boat with big plans to turn it into a floating nightclub.
Well, they call this buyer's remorse because he now says he regrets the $280,000 purchase with good reason. The boat's former captain told the New York Daily News it would likely cost millions for renovations. The boat's engine had been damaged by a fire. Then you've got toxic asbestos lining the walls. And this is where I'm out. There's a massive roach infestation, Andrea.
Okay, the bottom line here, kids, don't do drugs.
And finally,
Don't buy a boat.
Al Pacino breaking his silence on what he's calling the very special baby news with his 29-year-old girlfriend, Noor Alfafa.
The 83-year-old Godfather star publicly addressed the pregnancy, saying it's really special coming at this time. He doesn't know yet what they're having, though.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Do you remember exactly where you were when you found out about Scandal?
The biggest scandal that has ever happened in reality show history.
It's one giant incestuous pool of swapping spit and nonstop drama.
It is shocking. How was I so blind to this? Then I start noticing how close they actually were. I just never imagined Sandoval would have done that to Ariana.
Mind-blowing. Impact by Nightline. Now streaming on Hulu.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we want to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Hollywood.
This is the craziest story.
Amanda Lemon, Hollywood movie producer.
Lala Kent, reality star, Vanderpump Rules.
This is the juiciest time in reality show history.
How could I not have been smarter?
He was awful to everyone.
This is certainly the underbelly of Hollywood.
I have to put up a big fight.
I do hope he gets what he deserves.
The Randall Scandal. Love, Loathing, and Vanderpump. Only on Hulu.
When I got sent to Idaho to cover the murders of 4 college students, it was a story that didn't make any sense. 4 students stabbed to death in their beds while 2 roommates were home.
You got to think to yourself, okay, who's the target and how many people would a man go through to get to his target?
I'm Kana Whitworth with ABC News. This is the story of savage murders, a determined small-town police force, and a scholar of crime. This is the King Road Killings, a new podcast from ABC Audio. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Right now in America, with so much at stake, thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. Oh wait, there is. Good morning, America. GMA 7A. Now that's how you start your day.
You never know what you're going to get on the show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes, Whoopi! Is this mic on? Can you hear me out there?
Behind the scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's what people don't see during the commercial break.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into.
That day that we walked out, I treasured that day. I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good.
Oh, yeah, baby. It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
You can get it right now, yeah. 'Cause you're in Hollywood.
Young Hollywood hopefuls are getting it right now, but not in Hollywood.
A charter school in Atlanta is quickly turning into a new talent pipeline directly to the big screen. Here's ABC's Steve Osunsami.
Good morning, Utopian Academy. Welcome to another undeniably unique day here at the U.
There's something special happening at this School for the Arts in Georgia. They look like everyday kids south of Atlanta, but walking through the halls of the high school, the homerooms in the middle school, and even some of the classrooms at the grade school
WXYZ.
are children who are already in the movie business. The Utopian Academy is a charter school where any student who lives in the county can apply and go to for free. And when it first opened, people were concerned that it would hurt public education by using dollars that used to go to other schools. But along the way, Hollywood moved east.
If we burn, you burn with us.
Soon there were big budget productions like The Hunger Games that couldn't get enough of new tax breaks signed by lawmakers. By some estimates, several $1 billion worth of Hollywood's film, television, and streaming projects, all on that midnight train to Georgia, where they get an extra 10% in tax credits just for showing this now familiar image of a Georgia peach in their closing credits. And all of this meant that there was a new need for child talent and for a school that understood the Beverly Hills High of the South.
Just doing improv, figured out, just kind of blended in there.
Tanya Jackson is both the drama teacher at the school and a working actor.
Girl, it's a little too early to be trick-or-treating.
Seen here in a show on the CW.
I'm trying to give them industry things that they can use in real life or when they go off to college to study it to be able to compete in the market.
Okay. 15-year-old Jonah Liam Slade started in the 2nd grade. He shot 15 films and television shows during his years at the school so far.
Busy season is what? Busy season, early January, because that's when all the pilot shows start trying to film and everything. So that's when a whole bunch of auditions comes in, a whole bunch of bookings.
I feel like what really makes us and what stands us out from everybody else is we rejoice with each other. You win, we're all happy. You know, it's a win for everybody.
I love that. It's a message we heard more than once, that at this school, everyone is a star.
Not surprised, because the top states in the U.S. right now for TV and film production, obviously California #1, New York #2, Georgia #3.
Everyone is a star. Love that.
Plenty of opportunities there. Thanks to Steve Osunsami.
Do you remember exactly where you were when you found out about Scandival?
The biggest scandal that has ever happened in reality show history.
It's one giant incestuous pool of swapping spit and nonstop drama.
It is shocking. How was I so blind to this? Then I start noticing how close they actually were. I just never imagined Sandoval would have done that to Ariana.
Mind-blowing. Impact by Nightline. Now streaming on Hulu.
Bring them on. If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys?
Bring your friends. Oh, wait, there is. Good morning, America. GMA 7A every day. Boom, boom, boom. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. Ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis, streaming weeknights. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This morning on World News Now, one governor says the toxic smoke over parts of the country is an emergency crisis.
It darkened skies in New York. The mayor telling people to stay inside and led the worst air quality ever recorded there. Now it's on the move today. See which areas need to be on alert.
Also this morning, what to expect as the former sheriff's deputy in Florida accused of doing nothing during the Parkland School massacre goes on trial.
And a blockbuster move.